Alright, let's dive into something that's been catching my eye lately. The Euro to Japanese yen currency pair and its recent roller coaster ride. Here's the deal. Imagine you're watching a high-stakes game of tug-of-war, but instead of ropes, it's currencies. And right now, the Euro and the Japanese yen are in the spotlight. So what's going on? First off, the Euro to Japanese yen has been on a bit of a downward spiral, dropping to around 182.00. Personally, I think this is more than just a blip on the radar. What makes this really interesting is the context behind it. The pair had been climbing for a couple of days, but then, bam, it took a nosedive. In my opinion, this isn't just about numbers. It's about sentiment and momentum. The fact that it's trading below both the 9-day and 50-day exponential moving averages, EMAs, tells me there's a bearish bias in play. But here's the kicker. The 14-day Relative Strength Index, RSI, is hovering around 37. That's not screaming sell-off, but it's definitely hinting at some downside pressure. What this really suggests is that while the bears are in control, we're not in freefall territory yet. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. If you take a step back and think about it, the Euro to Japanese yen isn't just reacting to random market noise. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. For instance, the Eurozone's resilience has been surprising. Recent PMIs have been beating expectations, which is great news, right? Well, not entirely. Strategists at BNY Mellon point out that this resilience might actually be a double-edged sword. In my opinion, this is where things get really fascinating. While the Eurozone isn't spiraling into stagflation, the idea of the ECB tightening monetary policy again feels like a risky move. What many people don't realize is that another rate hike could potentially derail the fragile recovery we're seeing. It's like trying to fix a leaky roof while the house is still shaking from the last storm. From my perspective, the Euro/JPY's current struggle is a reflection of this broader uncertainty. If the pair breaks below the 8-month low of 179.37, it could be a sign that the market is pricing in a more cautious outlook for the Eurozone. On the flip side, if it manages to climb back above the 50-day EMA at 184.71, it might signal that traders are betting on the Euro's resilience. But here's the thing. The all-time high of 187.95 feels like a distant dream right now. What this really suggests is that the path forward is anything but clear. One thing that immediately stands out is the Euro's performance against other major currencies today. It's the weakest against the US dollar, which isn't surprising given the dollar's safe haven status. But what's more intriguing is the heat map. It's like a visual representation of the currency market's mood swings. For example, the Euro is holding relatively steady against the British pound and the Swiss franc, but it's losing ground against the yen. This raises a deeper question. Is the Euro's weakness a sign of broader risk-off sentiment, or is it just a yen-specific story? A detail I find fascinating is how the yen is behaving. It's not just strengthening against the Euro. It's also holding its ground against other majors. This could be a sign that investors are flocking to the yen as a safe haven, especially with global economic uncertainties looming. If you think about it, the yen's strength might be less about the Euro's weakness and more about the yen's appeal in turbulent times. So where does this leave us? Personally, I think the Euro to Japanese yen is at a crossroads. The technicals are bearish, but the fundamentals are a mixed bag. The Eurozone's resilience is a positive, but the risks of further ECB tightening are a wild card. Meanwhile, the yen's strength adds another layer of complexity. What makes this really interesting is that it's not just about one currency or the other. It's about the interplay of global economic forces, central bank policies, and market sentiment. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just a story about a currency pair. It's a snapshot of the global economy in flux. Are we heading toward a period of risk-off sentiment, Or will resilience win the day? That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, I don't have the answer, but that's what makes this so fascinating. It's like watching a chess game where every move has multiple layers of meaning. So, here's my closing thought. Keep an eye on the euro to Japanese yen, but don't just watch the numbers. Pay attention to the broader narrative. What's happening here is a microcosm of the bigger trend shaping the global economy. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the most interesting stories are the ones where the ending isn't written yet. What do you think? Is the euro to Japanese yen headed for more downside, or is there a bullish comeback on the horizon? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take.